Welcome everybody to the first ever episode of Pixel Passion, EP for short, where we take a look of the best games ever made in the indie scene. Because if you want games that are created with passion, you almost have to stick to the indie scene these days, because I might only be speaking for myself, but I don't think so, but I have very little to get from the AAA side of gaming, and my real enjoyment, time sink and escapism comes from the indie scene, where very passionate people are working day and night to bring us these passion projects that doesn't get talked about enough. So I'm here to showcase some of the absolute best they have to offer. And I wanted to start it off with a bang. Today we're going to be talking about Cobalt Core. And let me paint you a picture. Imagine that Slay the Spire and FTL had a love child. That love child would be named Cobalt Core. Let's dive into it. So, Cobalt Core is an adorable deck building roguelike set out in space, where you control a team of three astronaut animals that's stuck in a time loop and is kind of trying to make their way around space, with the final destination being a time crystal that seems to be trapping them into a time loop. The art style is drop dead gorgeous. It just reeks with soul and passion. It's a beautiful game to look at. The music is fantastic. So I'm recording this after having streamed it for 7 hours that just flew by, and like so many times I had to just like stop playing and like are you guys hearing the music? Like the music in this is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It kind of reminded me about a little bit like a mix of Celeste and Risk of Rain. And if you've ever played any of those games, you know that's high praise. That's really high praise. So, the thing that sets this apart from Slay the Spire, for example, is that, well, one, you have a crew of people that you have to tend to instead of just your one main character. And you also have a ship. And this ship has a physical form, and so does the enemy. And you need to like place yourself on the battlefield so you don't get hit by the enemy's attacks, and likewise you need to also position yourself so you hit the enemy with what you're planning to do. You need to raise the shield so that the damage from the enemy won't eat through your hull. And the fighting is actually really freaking good. It's solid, it's in depth, it has all the depth of Slay the Spire. Like I played a lot of Slay the Spire clones that, like, yeah, they kind of scratch the same itch, but then they fall short of the real thing. I'm telling it right now, Cobalt Core is gonna go down in history as a classic. This is a fantastic, phenomenal game, and I love it with a passion. And you can tell that the devs also love this project. It reeks with love, it reeks with finesse, it reeks with polish, it reeks with passion. Characters have funny little banter between missions, and depending on what pilots you bring, they will have different interactions with each other and different interactions with the people you meet out in the world. The map works very much just like Slay the Spire. You pick a node, you see beforehand kind of what kind of node it is, if it's going to be a combat node, if it's going to be a treasure node, or whatever have it, if it's going to be an elite combat, and so on and so on. And then you make your way to a final boss, beat that boss, and then you move on to the next stage, up to 3 stages. And as I touched on before, the combat mechanics in this is absolutely phenomenal. You can go with like so many different builds. Some pilots will be better at like maneuvering the ship. So when you have them on your team, you will find a lot of cards that helps you maneuver the ship and also helps you gives you bonuses to maneuvering. For example, there is one called, I think it's Strafe, that makes you do damage every time you move your ship. Can be absolutely nutty with some characters. You have a little blue guy, Dizzy, that is very, very proficient at applying shields on the ship. And along the way, as you play, you will pick up artifacts, new cards, you will be able to upgrade cards, you will encounter events. All of these randomly generated and might enhance the playstyle you're going for, or might be such a drastic off-branch from it that you might consider pivoting your entire deck into something else, for the simple fact that using that artifact to your advantage is like such a good deal. There's a wide array of enemies, and no run is the same. On 2 of my runs, I managed to come across a shipyard, and they offered to install a scaffold, I think they called it, on my ship, that made my ship 1 space wider, but it also gave me kind of a passageway through the ship. Like right through the middle of my ship, if any laser beams, rockets, whatever would come there, they would just pass through the ship, and I wouldn't take damage. And like, this was such a cool thing because it added an entirely new dimension to like how I approached the rest of that run. You have Isaac, which is a cute little goat. He specializes in missiles. So you have your field, you have the middle field, and you have the enemy's field. This middle field is like a shared territory between you, the enemy, and if you enter into an asteroid field, like also the game itself, or the environment also shares that field. And Isaac is a master at manipulating this field by creating attack drones, or creating missiles, or what have you, or creating asteroids. And then you can find artifacts that further enhances this playstyle. The last one I ever did, I had an artifact that gave me resources whenever I destroyed anything in like the middle lane, and especially when I destroyed asteroids. And this became like really, really fun to play into, and it was really different from what I had done before. Cobalt Core is an absolute joy to play, and if you like roguelike games like Darkest Dungeon, Slay the Spire, FTL, Into the Breach, you're gonna have an absolute blast with this one. I know I did. Cobalt Core is released on PC and on Nintendo Switch. And as of the time of writing, it costs 17 euros, and I'll give it my highest recommendation. I can't wait to see if they're gonna support the game further with DLC and additional content. Even if they don't, you definitely get your money's worth. It is a really, really good game, and you can feel the love being put into it. So I think that's that. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm hoping to dig up even more indie games to showcase. And if you have any tips what I should take a look at, please let me know in comments, or catch me live on Twitch probably right the heck now. Until next time, stay safe people, stay happy, and have a good rest of your day.